We'll go next to the 23rd ranked USC Trojans traveling to Lincoln, Nebraska. This game's 7:30 Eastern time on NBC, USC is a 6.5 point favorite. This is a blackout night game there for the Cornhuskers. Look, SC is 5-2. They're 3-1 in the Big Ten. This will be a hostile environment against Nebraska that has not had an opportunity to win against ranked opponents in quite some time. So this is a playoff elimination game. Any chance of getting to the postseason will be determined on this field. So the Cornhuskers right now, 28-game losing streak against AP-ranked opponents. You hate seeing that, by the way. Their last win came in September of 2016 against Oregon, but USC has struggled on the road, and it's been well documented since joining the conference. Their only road victory outside of California was in week 3 this year, and that was against Purdue. Good quarterback matchup in Jaden Mayava against Dylan Raiola. Question number 1, how will both offenses handle some injuries along their offensive line? Look, Nebraska's offensive line, they haven't been great already this year. They haven't created a lot of consistency in the run game. Now they're in a bit of a state of flux because their starting right tackle and Teddy Prohaska, he's now confirmed out for the rest of the season with a knee injury. Devastating blow. Hate this because he's had 4 injuries now that have really been season ending. It just makes me really upset to think about. I don't even want to think about it at this point. So that was compounded. His injury is compounded by the fact that his primary backup, Gunnar Gotchula, is also banged up, and his status is in question as well. So this could force the Nebraska line to kind of shuffle and to figure out who's going to fill those voids, and it creates a bit of a weak point along that offensive front. Now, that vulnerability along this offensive line has been exposed before. Their only other game against a ranked opponent this season was against Michigan, and Nebraska's offense just completely collapsed under pressure, and that offensive line just got dented time and time again, and it didn't allow Dylan Raiola very much opportunity to find people downfield because he got sacked 7 times. Now they're facing SC, and SC's offensive line is in a compromised state as well, if you look at where things are. So if you look at USC, they've had a couple injury woes that were an issue against Notre Dame, so they got to find a solution too. So their starting left tackle, Elijah Page, has not played since week 4. Their starting center, Killian O'Connor, suffered a lower body injury in week 5 and has been seen in a brace. The good news is the Trojans, they're coming off a bye, and hopefully both those guys will be closer to being at 100% in this matchup. Question number 2, can Nebraska attack an undisciplined run defense? Now, Emmett Johnson is the heart of this Nebraska offense. He's got 837 rushing yards and 9 touchdowns. He's currently on pace to become Nebraska's first 1,000-yard rusher since 2016, which is a milestone for the program. The production, however, is very interesting because he's been elite, and yet the Nebraska rushing offense as a whole is 101st in the FBS. So how is that possible? It's kind of amazing. It goes to show you exactly how good he's been at creating yards after contact and creating big plays. The USC run defense has been a bit of a liability as well. They're giving up just under 137 yards a game. It appears a little bit mediocre, but if you look at their 2 toughest tests, that's when the defense has been at their very worst, especially against Notre Dame, when they gave up 306 rushing yards. So not what you're looking for. Against Illinois, they gave up 171 and nearly 5 yards a carry. And if you listen to Lincoln Riley, and if I watch the tape, if you looked at it, they kind of overcompensated. They tried to do too much. A lot of guys were not in the proper gap. So it's not a talent issue. It's more of a discipline issue. Can they be more disciplined defensively in this game and not give up the big plays on the ground that they've given up against better competition earlier in the season? Question number 3, can Jaden Mayava continue his elite play against a great pass defense? Now, he's hyper efficient. Now, he's thrown for nearly 2,200 yards, 15-4 touchdown interception ratio, 170 plus passer rating. Mekhi Lemon is a premier threat in the Big Ten. He's amazing at wide receiver. And on paper, Nebraska's defense appears to be a really good matchup. That appears to be the matchup of the game. They're currently number 2 right now in the FBS when it comes to passing yards given up. Through 8 games, they've given up just 3 passing touchdowns all season. So how does a defense that ranks that high from passing yards allowed standpoint generate such little pass rush? Nebraska has just 12 sacks through 8 games. Now, one other storyline too is Sayer Wright. He started his career at USC, and he's been fantastic at Nebraska this year. He was actually named a midseason All-American by a publication or two. So he's the anchor of this Nebraska secondary, and he'll be tasked with trying to defend a really talented wide receiver core kind of across the board. So he obviously also possesses a lot of inside knowledge about USC's offensive concepts, player tendencies, signals, what have you. So that's a guy to watch there in the back end defensively for the Cornhuskers. Question 4, will Dylan Raiola get the ball out and play smart? He's going to have to be patient in this game. USC forces the quarterback to make mistakes. They've intercepted 9 passes this year. That's top 20. And Raiola has thrown 6 picks. So he's got to be smart, but he also has to get the ball out. He's taken 26 sacks this year. That's one of the highest numbers in the entire country. And USC, they've been good with their pass rush. They have 21 sacks. So Raiola's got to get the ball out, and he's got to be smart, because this defense will get their hands on the football if you take chances that are unnecessary. Question number 5, which team will win in the red zone? We'll start with Nebraska's defense. They're elite between the 20s. They're, like I said, one of the best pass defenses in the country. But when teams get in the red zone, that's when they become a little more human, which is kind of mind-blowing. They are 105th in the FBS in red zone defense. Opponents are scoring at nearly 70% of their trips inside the 20. So that's crazy when you think about it. They're good between the 20s, but in the red zone, they have to be sharper in a game like this. And then USC's defense, while they've been a bit of a liability in between the 20s, they've been really good when the field compresses and they get into the red zone. They're a top 20 red zone touchdown defense. Opponents scored as 50% on their trips inside the red zone, which is excellent. I'm going to take USC in this game. I understand that the road struggles are well documented, but I just think they're the better team. They're coming off the bye week with a week to get healthy. I think their pass rush will be very impactful in this game. And I think they'll be a lot more sound defensively, and they won't give up the freebies that they gave up against some of the teams they faced earlier in the season.